Hi everyone. This video is about Tidepool 0.3.3, which is the first new release in 9.5 months, believe it or not. And most of the time I spent doing other billable work, but in the last month or so I've been hard at work implementing the core features for this release, which all have to do with the game within a game, Tidepool Adventure, which I'm going to talk a lot about. Other things that happened during this release, floor, ceiling, room commands, and upgrading to the newest tech, lots of quality of life improvements, and stuff having to do with stories, and of course lots of bug fixes. So let's talk about Adventure. Adventure is the first story-based computer game. It was released in 1977, and as you can see here, it's text-based. You start out by reading, "You are standing at the end of the road before a small brick building," and you have to read the descriptions and go from area to area by using commands like go building. So now we're inside of the building. I'm going to get some keys and go back out of the building, and you can see I'm using these cardinal directions: north, south, east, west, and so forth. So along the way you have to solve puzzles and you get a score. And it was very, very popular in the late 70s, and actually was the best-selling computer game variation. These games were actually called adventures because of this first game, Colossal Cave Adventure. So in implementing it for Tidepool, this is an actual map of Adventure. I imported the original data file from 1977 just to be as authentic as possible. And so far I've implemented the areas above the cave, which are right here, and also in the first section of the cave, along here to the Hall of Mists, and then these rooms here. Now, of course, there's lots more adventure to be had here. The rooms are actually made, and you can navigate throughout the entire map, but I haven't made them look appropriate, and I also haven't tested and done the puzzles yet. So, which is fine, because this is what's called a development example. The whole purpose of doing this, other than paying homage to this original computer game, is to test out the Tidepool framework. By using somebody else's game design, I find lots of different ways to improve Tidepool that I didn't think of before. All right, so I just went through the adventure portal, and you can see you are standing at the end of the road before a small brick building. And there's the building over there. Now, one thing I'm going to say about the look of all of this is that it's intentionally sparse, and it's not meant to be great. The point here is, if you make it too good, then kids will be intimidated to make their own. So a lot of this is very simple, bare bones. And as I said, I want to encourage kids to do their own, but also I want to encourage kids to expand upon what's here. You know, they can make changes to everything that you see. And so we want to encourage people to go, oh, I could do better than that, and do just that. So I'm going to go inside the building. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay. So this is the other direction of the road. So I'm going to go back. You see, I'm typing east and then east. All right, so inside the building, we have these 4 items, and I'm going to need the keys to get very far, so I'm just going to click on the keys and grab them, and that goes in my inventory. As you can see, it's right here. And I'm going to go outside the building and go south. Now, of course, you have to kind of figure out where to go. That's part of the game. I just happen to know exactly where to go. And this is all the original stuff. Now, as you can see right here, there's a grate that goes down into the cave. And if I click on it, it says you can't go through a locked steel grate. Now, I could also type down. Now, this is the first example of a puzzle. And, this is a pretty simple one, but you have to figure out what to do. And typically it's by looking at what you're carrying. Well, this is a fairly obvious puzzle. But before I go down, I'm just going to show you what it looks like under the hood. This is the director. This is where the programming happens. And again, I'm going to make the proviso that this is bare bones coding. The next milestone is going to make this much easier for kids to do. This is really just getting the framework working. So yes, I know that a lot of this looks too hard for kids to do. All right, so you can see that there's different rules here for locking and unlocking the grate. And if I were to look at this and say unlock, it's actually saying if I'm not holding the keys, you say you have no keys. And likewise, if I am holding the key, oh, I clicked the wrong one. If I am holding the keys, then I'm going to set a property which is grate open true. So let's unlock the grate. And now I can go down. All right, here we are in the first small chamber. And I'm just going to cruise through here and just show you what this looks like. But there's a bunch of puzzles that are already working, so I'm going to go west. You're crawling over cobbles in a low passage. There's the cage, which you need for one of the puzzles. Here's the XYZZY room, and you can see the rod over here. And Awkward Canyon. And there's the bird. Now if I try to get the bird right now, you cannot. You can catch the bird, but you cannot carry it. Now what's interesting about this is that get is a core command of Tidepool, but you can override it in the rules so that we can put in some conditions. And this is a fairly complicated set of conditions here. So for me to be able to actually get this bird, I can't be holding the rod, or I can't be nearby the rod, and I have to be holding the cage. So, this is starting to get a little bit more complicated. But the purpose of this is to have kids iterate over these problems and learn how to do this kind of problem solving. All right, this is really the main benefit to Tidepool. All right, so I'm going to keep going through the rest of the oh, that's weird. I just noticed a bug where you have to walk a little bit. Oh, okay. Well, here are some commands. I'll show you some commands like floor toggles whether the floor is showing or not. I'm not sure what's going on with the floor here. That must be a bug. All right, I'm going to click on this and go down. Well, you can see the floor. So if I toggle floor, it should turn it on and off. Oh, I have to select the path first. That's what I was doing wrong. All right, so I just click on the wall, and then I can do floor. And this is a pretty tall ceiling, but I'll look up here. And there's no more ceiling. Now it looks like there is a ceiling, but it's actually because the sky, I made the sky that color. So if I did sky color blue, you know, well, it still looks like it's the ceiling, but that's just because of the way that it's set up. All right, and then the last, well, we have the Nugget Room. There's the gold nugget, and oh, one other thing that's pretty important about this release is when I make changes, it goes into my own. Oh, damn! I'm sorry, I'm screwing up, pressing the wrong keys. There we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what I was looking for. My own branch. This is the MUX user, and any changes that I make go into this branch. So we have full automatic version control in this version, and so if I want to push my changes, so I mean the only thing I really changed here, but I could do anything. I could say, you know what, I want to have an archer in this room also, right? And now I'm the only one that's going to see this unless somebody explicitly changes to the MUX branch. So if I decide, you know what, I just made a mess of things, I'm going to just go back to the trunk, which is the official version. I would do trunk. You could also do the pull command, which is the same thing. And there might be a bug here, or it might be taking long for some reason. Push and pull take more time than I'd like. Okay, there we go. So we're back to prototypical. Although the floor is still kind of messed up, so that might be a bug. The floor should be returning to what it was also. And when you're done, and you want to save changes that you do, you can do push, and that'll push the changes just to this room, or you can do publish, and it publishes the entire story, and it makes it official. Likewise, if you want to start the story all from the beginning, you type reset, and it just resets every single scene in the story and brings you back to the beginning, so you could do a playthrough. So these commands, they're taking longer than I'd like right now, but they're very useful and certainly help out. Okay, so let's go north. Show you the rest of the rooms here. There's the snake. This is the biggest first puzzle in the game. As you can see, I can't go anywhere because you can't get by the snake, which was a pain in the neck. Well, until I lock this down, you can actually go anywhere you want here. So, but I will make it so that you can't just jump around from room to room. And the other thing is, if you go to a room that hasn't been done yet, so if I go, oh, here I gotta go east. That's right. All right, so I'm back to the Hall of Mists now, and I'm gonna go west. And so I put up this little construction sign for the areas of the cave that aren't yet done. So what I just showed you is we started here, we went in the building, we came out, we went here, 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 we went down through the grate, and then we went cobble crawl, debris room, slipping canyon, bird chamber, top of pit, into the Hall of Mist. We went down to the gold room, and then we went up to the Hall of the Mountain King, and I didn't show you this outside chamber, but you know, you have to scare the snake away before you can proceed from this point. All right, well, that's Colossal Cave Adventure. The next thing that is coming is going to be the improved map. Right now, the map is just a simple visual guide to the parcels in the overworld. When I'm done with the improved map, you're going to see an actual rendition of what this is. And you're also going to be able to make changes directly to the map, like draw walls and see where different objects are in each of the different scenes. So that's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, 9.5 months, I'd say total 3 months worth of work here. And I am very happy to be moving on. Thanks for listening.